Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the webinar on the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action. Today we are live from the POLITICO Studies Fair, and I'll be here talking. I'm Gerard Bros from the European Commission, together with Gwendoline Bailey, who is an MSCA alumna, a PhD in engineering technology from the KU Leuven, market intelligence manager at a leading materials technology and recycling company in Belgium. And above all, she's an American living in Belgium since 6 years. So some of you might be new to the MSCA, to the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. And so we'll give you a little introduction to what they are. The MSCA are the main EU program supporting researchers from all over the world, and they provide funding for excellent research in all fields of innovation and research. The way to do so, it's through grants that finance PhD and postdoctoral researchers, and always through mobility. So with the MSCA, you need to move from one country to another to do your research. The MSCA put a strong emphasis on your training, on the development of skills, and on the development of a career in research. So they are the right starting point for your career in research after your master's. So some of you might be wondering, are the MSCA for you? The MSCA are the next step if you finished your master's degree and if you are considering doing a PhD abroad. As we said, the MSCA encourage research projects always through mobility to another country. If you are considering to do a PhD, the MSCA are definitely the right choice for you. And you will need to look for MSCA PhD positions. We'll explain how to do so a bit later. If you are already a researcher and you are considering to bring your career research further and do a postdoc, the MSCA also provide many opportunities for you. In that case, we'll also explain you how to look for postdoctoral positions or apply to the MSCA postdoctoral fellowships, which is the main action that allow you to present your own research project to also do research abroad. So let's start with the opportunities for PhD candidates. As I said, the MSCA finance researchers of all nationalities. So no matter you are European or not, you can still apply to the program. The program finances people that are still not doing their PhD mainly. So they are the main tool for future PhD candidates to develop their research and transferable skills, to enhance their career prospects, and also to develop an innovation-oriented mindset. As I said, what the MSCA finance in here is mainly research in Europe. So if you are already based in Europe, you'll be able to go to another European country and do research in there. If you are from outside the EU or outside Europe, then your MSCA fellowship will allow you to come to Europe to do your PhD. The MSCA always finances excellent research projects. So no matter the scholarship that you choose and the position you choose, you will be able to work with best researchers. And also eventually do some secondments outside academia, in other organizations and countries. The support that the MSCA provide are of up to 36 months. It depends on the scholarship, and they always give fully funded PhD positions. So this means that your living allowances will be covered, that you will receive also mobility allowances to move to another country, and eventually, if depending on your case, you might be eligible as well to get family allowances and other costs. If we move now to the opportunities for experienced researchers, it's more or less the same. The MSCA provide opportunities for researchers of all nationalities that hold already a PhD or equivalent. So this means more or less 4 years of research. Also, the opportunities for postdoctoral researchers always put this strong emphasis on research and transferable skills, on doing international, interdisciplinary, and cross-sectoral mobility. So it means that you can do research in academia or outside academia in different topics. And also, they put the strong emphasis on entrepreneurship and innovation. With the opportunities that the MSCA provide, you'll be able to do research in Europe, but also beyond. So it means that you can go outside of Europe to do your research. And in the case of postdoctoral fellowships, you might receive support as from 3 years of fellowships until 36 months, more or less. Again, as is the case for PhD positions, we provide funding for fully funded postdoctoral positions, including living, mobility, family allowances, etc. So now that you know a bit the main components of the MSCA, it's a time to start looking for positions. And to do so, you can check the main portal where all these positions are announced. This portal is called EURACCESS, and there you will find positions in all fields of research, from social sciences and humanities to life sciences or even arts. The only thing you have to do is enter the portal, choose the right filters, and click on the filters where you see MSCA or Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. Then, if you are hesitant or you have some questions, you can always ask for advice, and the right place to do so are the MSCA national contact points. Also, we invite you to check for every position which are the project's requirements, and finally, you will have to apply to your institution of interest. Always, you will find information in this portal, EURACCESS, and on the website of the institution that you chose. Finally, I will say a few words about postdoctoral fellowships. So if you are a postdoctoral candidate, as I said, you might look for some opportunities on this portal, EURACCESS, but you can also present your own research project. To do so, you will have to apply to postdoctoral fellowships. This program finances fellowships in Europe, so either for researchers from outside Europe coming to Europe, or also for researchers that are already based in Europe and wish to move to another European country to do their fellowship. Also, you can apply to global postdoctoral fellowships. In that case, these fellowships are only for people based in Europe, so either European nationals or residents in Europe, to go abroad. With these scholarships, you'll be able to do your research outside Europe for up to 24 months, and then you will be obliged to return to Europe and do still 12 months of research in an institution based in the continent. Again, postdoctoral fellowships provide a lot of support, among them incentives to do placements outside of academia. So if you consider doing research in the industry or private sector, you will have up to 6 extra months of fellowship. And then also there are some incentives if you are a researcher working abroad and would like to return to Europe after your experience outside of the continent. Again, in this action, you'll be able to do secondments worldwide. So it means that you will be able to work in another institution, in another sector under certain conditions. And also you can present projects in any field of research. So no matter what you're working on, political sciences or life sciences, whatever it is, you can present your projects. Only the best ones are selected in any discipline. And finally, the grants provide the same kind of support and actually in very good working conditions. So you will receive living allowances, mobility allowances, and other kinds of costs to support your research. But also if you have a family, you will be supported with extra allowances. And also if you have a disability, you'll receive extra support. And finally, if you are considering applying to postdoctoral fellowships, what you need to do first is to find a host institution to develop your application. Then use all your networks of researchers and ask for advice to MSCA national contact points. They will help you prepare your proposal and give you very useful tips. And finally, you'll need to apply directly to the European Commission with your host institution. The next call for proposals will be published in principle around spring 2021. This is still subject to change. So these are indicative deadlines. Starts of the call for proposals. So if you have any other question, just follow us on our social media or check our website, and we will be very happy to answer your questions. Otherwise, you can also check the list of useful links. This presentation will be available in our stand after this webinar. And you'll see that you have the main links to your access, so to job offers, to the list of national contact points, and also to other useful resources. Now I'll give the floor to Gwendoline, who will be talking about her experience as an MSCA fellow, and she will give you a few tips and some insight into how someone gets into a research career. So please, Gwendoline, I give the floor to you. I'll stop sharing my slides.
Thanks. Okay, everyone see my slides? Okay, good. Thank you so much, Gerard, for the introduction. My name is Gwendolyn Bailey, and I'm here to talk a little bit about my experience in the Marie Sklodowska-Curie program. I graduated from the program about 2 years ago, and I actually got a training during the program about research careers and about career planning. So I got some of the inspiration for this presentation based on a training that I got from Richard Wheeler. So first I want to say congratulations to everyone here attending for taking the first step towards exploring higher education opportunities. No matter what anyone says, embarking on a PhD is definitely a good idea. And it's one of the only things that really matters to your career and your life, which is education. So I wanted to kind of take a poll. I guess it's not very possible in this type of room here, but I wanted to kind of get a feeler out for people who couldn't really bring themselves to really think about one more school assignment. And I know I was in that category. I wanted to kind of get a feeler for who thinks they would never be cut out for a PhD or be for completing a PhD. And I also wanted to get I wanted to also ask who was tired of being stuck in Zoom, these Zoom rooms. I know it's not very interactive, these types of presentations, and I wish we could be together in person. So if the poll is asking yes or no to each question, I would say yes to each one. And you might think, oh, so you thought, Gwen, you weren't really cut out for a PhD. You had this feeling of being done with school and you wanted to completely close that chapter. And I personally never thought I'd be cut out for an academic positions, you might ask yourself, okay, Gwen, like, why are we asking you to speak on the subject? And yeah, although I was never someone who dreamed of doing a PhD, I'm often asked to speak at this. But this is an event from Women in Science event that was hosted by Bo. This was a couple of years ago, and I'm also asked to speak about my experience in this program. And I guess you could say I was a success story, but success is very relative, and it depends on where your journey started, of course. And my journey started in the great state of Texas, the land of oil, gas, and petrol. And it's the place, where owning a big truck and a big home and miles and miles of space is considered the dream. And it wasn't expected that I would be, studying environmental science, would be really interested in things like sustainability. In fact, I actually was pretty into archery growing up. That's me on the left with the cowboy hat. And so, that's where most people thought I would land. But in fact, my career path took many different trajectories. And so my first degree was a Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Sciences. And that's kind of a kind of catch-all set. I was a professional fundraiser for a business school at the University of Texas in Austin. It's my first career. And then my second degree was a Master's of Science in Environment Management and Sustainability in France. And that led to my second career, which was a researcher at KU Leuven in Belgium. And then that led to my third degree, which is a PhD in engineering technology from KU Leuven, which led to my most recent career, which is a market intelligence manager at a materials technology and recycling company here. So a lot of people get this idea that careers kind of follow a linear pathway, and you start from the bottom, but you eventually work your way up to president and or vice president. But unless you're going to be a dentist or accountant, there to have many careers and have to learn as you go. And career paths often look more like this, I would say. You have some high highs, some low lows, but you eventually get to where you want to go based on this kind of idea of a career path that you structure for yourself. So I know a lot of you are probably master's students right now, or maybe even some bachelor students, but how I made the transition from master to PhD was really important and really kind of fueled my interest in the MSCA program itself. I was studying environmental science in France, as I said, and after completing my master's thesis, I really got interested in life cycle assessment, and that's what my thesis was on. My master's thesis was on, and I knew I wanted more technical skills under my belt. I had also gotten bitten by the travel bug and really wanted to kind of continue traveling as part of my career. And I put a picture here of Marie Curie because, Marie Sklodowska-Curie, because the program is named for her aptly because she was born in Poland, which many people don't remember, but she was born in Poland and then moved to France to kind of continue her scientific career. And if she hadn't moved to France, she may have not met Pierre Curie. She may have not, won a Nobel Prize in the end. So, travel is a huge component of the MSCA program, and traveling to new places, making new connections, and having new experiences is essential. And honestly, if you don't like travel, then I wouldn't say the program is for you. So after completing the MSCA program, after 4 years, I had many different experiences under my belt, not just travel experiences. Although that was really essential because I had completed 3 secondments in 2 different countries. And then I was also exposed to many nationalities within our consortium as well. There were 8 different nationalities. I participated in many conferences around the world. I received both training in hard and soft skills, so that's important for scientific researchers. I starred in 2 videos that were made about my scientific project. received some science communication awards, and published 3 papers. So it's really a mix of yeah, the hard skill and soft skill opportunities there that I really liked about the program. And that's me in the middle, graduating on my graduation day. And I wanted to kind of bring it home to what the lessons I learned throughout completing this program. And I quoted here the very first page of my thesis, my PhD thesis, and it's a quote from Karl Popper, and it says, "No book can ever be finished. While working on it, we learn just enough to find it immature the moment we turn away from it." So this resonated with me towards the end of the PhD, because after completing such a long study, you're definitely dissatisfied, but somehow also accepting imperfection at the same time. And yeah, by completing a PhD, you learn that this is what it's about. Actually, it's always about being dissatisfied, because the reason you're dissatisfied is you're always learning something new. So you're always, comparing yourself to the previous time where you didn't know that thing. So still, I'm constantly learning. I'm even learning in my new field for my job today. So that's something that is continuing on in my career, but really started when I started doing my MSCA. So I want to, in this presentation, was just to amend a bit the quote from my PhD thesis and change it to, yeah, no book can ever be finished, because you're always just writing the next chapter. And I hope you guys don't think that you're finished with the school or education chapter of yours, as I did initially. I was completely done after my master's, but I was wrong, and I hope that you continue your chapter of education with the MSc program. And as I said in my opening statement, one of the only things that really matters to your career and your life is education. So I really hope that you'll continue on. Are there any questions? Yeah.
Yes, Gwendolyn, Gerard posted a question on the chat.
Okay. So there is one that says, do you recommend to wait to do research after years of work experience? I wouldn't say there's a reason to wait to do research after years of work experience. I had only 1 or 2 years of work experience, and it was not in the science field at all. So I don't necessarily recommend to wait to do research after work experience. I think it's really nice to continue straight from your bachelor or your master into a research career. There's another question: is there a perfect time in a career to go in for a PhD? Oh, that's a good question. I would say that it's always nicer to kind of start as soon as you've done your master, right? Or so I would say it's nice to do it in a more earlier stage. But I met tons of other PhD students who were, at midlife or even later. So there's not a perfect age, I would say, but I would say that just after your master is probably the ideal. With traveling and everything for the MSCA program, it makes it a bit easier. So the last one is, do you have any general advice for current MSCA students? Masters of Science students that are getting more and more passionate about starting a research career. General advice. I would say that it's great that you have a lot of passion, and you should go for it. Go for a research career. This is the perfect next step to explore if you actually want a research career. So I think that this is the perfect opportunity to kind of really understand that. So go for it. Yeah. You've said that PhD offers advantages on the job market. Can you name examples? I don't know if I actually said that the PhD offers advantages on the job market, but I think there's clear advantages where you have specialized skills, a specialized expertise that not a lot of other people have. That offers advantages, right? If you can offer a really detailed skill from a specific topic, like because you will get your expertise in one topic from a PhD, right? So if you can offer that, then I think that will give you a huge advantage. And also the traveling experience and stuff, that's a big advantage. Thank you for your presentation. You're welcome. What did you find hardest about the transition from master's to PhD? That's a really good one. So PhD, you're studying all day, right? So like, I mean, you're not just looking at your books, obviously, but with master, you kind of have your classes and then studying stuff. But with PhD, there's not so many classes. You're just in your study. So you're really spending 8 hours or more often, really immersed in one topic. There's many adjacent fields around that topic, but within one topic. So I would say that was the biggest difference, being immersed in completely in one topic only. Whereas in masters, you have many topics. Are there any other questions here? Did I skip some? Okay, another one is, do you think that if you start with a PhD, then you are stuck with being an academic, or can you still go for working? I am the prime example that you're not stuck being an academic. So I think I did start with a PhD and then I completed it, but I don't have an academic career now, although my career right now requires a lot of research skills. But I would say that I'm the prime example of someone who's not stuck in academia and can easily and I think it's very possible, especially with the MSCA program, to easily make the transition to industry, because you're managing many different projects already. You become super skilled at project management, time management, networking and collaboration, and that's all skills that you use in industry as well. So that's definitely easy transition.
Okay, so I think we got to the end.
No other questions? We have a couple minutes, I think. Yeah.
Yes, 3 minutes. Okay. So I think we still have a last question. Gwendolyn, can you hear me well? Yes.
Yeah.
So just 1 second, I'm retrieving the last ones. So someone is saying applying for a PhD is very complex and competitive. Any tips for advancing your applications, especially if you have very few academic connections to those schools you're applying to?
Yes, if you have few academic connections, that's not a problem. I would say to make your application competitive, you have to kind of link your previous research experience or your previous work experience to the topic itself that you're applying for. That would be to give the most examples of actual work that you've done in that topic. For me, my topic was life cycle assessment, and during my internships, I had worked with life cycle assessment legislation at the European Commission, so in the product environmental footprint. So that I had already worked on a project that involved life cycle assessment that had results. So that was something that allowed me to have more clout. Secondly, I would say is publications. I also have published my master's thesis, and I think a lot of students don't do that, but I recommend if you want to go into a PhD career, then publish your master's thesis, because I think really worked to my advantage in my application.
Okay, time's up, so we should finish. Maybe one last piece of advice is someone was asking, can you apply for both PhD and postdoc? Yes, you can. So check all the opportunities available under the MSCA and just get in touch with us. I would like to thank very much to Gwendoline for having accompanied us today. And if you have any questions, just feel free to join us at the stand of the Directorate General of Education, Audiovisual, Youth and Culture of the Commission. I will post the link right now on the chat. Thank you very much and have a good weekend, you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.